All right. Hello and welcome to another admissions talk. My name is Matt Hargis. I'm the Director of Recruitment in the Office of Admission. I want to start by saying, congratulations, seniors. You are in I guess, considered the home stretch of your high school journey, with many of you kind of already celebrating spring break, and we know graduation is just around the corner. Today is April 1st, right? So April is here, which means the start of spring, warm temperatures, getting outside, and of course, the most important housing room selection time. And so today I have my colleague, Mr. Billy Blunt, Director of Administrative Services with University Housing, on the call with me. And we're going to discuss and talk through the upcoming Phase 4 process. So, Billy, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Matt. And as Matt mentioned, congrats all you seniors out there. Hope you're enjoying the last few weeks of your high school career before you head to the hill here in a few months. So Matt's going to pull up a couple screens for us, and we're going to talk about phase four of room selection, just a couple things to expect. So the first thing I'd encourage you to do, if you haven't already done so, probably most of you have, but on the housing website, there is a link to a YouTube video that talks about how to complete a contract phase four. If you haven't watched that, I would encourage you to watch that. That will walk you through phase four entirely. You will be able to see how to pick a room. You'll be able to see how to assign your roommate, and just kind of those kind of classic things that as you go through the process a little bit to go through. So that will really help you with your journey. There's been those for the other videos to hopefully we can make it simplistic. You can see what it's going to look like when you go in to select a room there in phase four. And as you can see from Matt scrolling, there was phase three and the other ones that have been there as well, to go through as you go through. So phase four is there. We encourage you, if you haven't, go watch that. That should just walk you through the process. And when your time comes, we'll give you a little bit more. So while Matt's on this page, one other thing I want to point out for you, right in the middle of that page, there is the big continue to the housing contracting portal button. That will get you into your portal where you will log in. It's the exact same place that you have done the first three phases, or if you haven't done a housing contract and you're doing it for the first time, this is where you will start. One last thing before we kind of get into the details a little bit around four of room selection. I do want to tell you inside the housing portal in the top left corner, once you've logged in, there's a link for My Details. It is your total friend of all of your informational resources. So your room selection time, when you get it about a week out, we'll post there. You will see your room there. You'll see your roommates there. You'll see your meal plan there. And as we get further along in the semester and you pick your move-in time, and August gets here, your address will be there, your mailbox combination will be there. So every question that you have should be answered there in that My Details section of the housing portal. So you don't feel free once you picked a room. You don't have to call us. Oh, did I pick a Dohe 412? Just go to the housing portal and to the My Details. If you don't see it, you didn't pick it. So it will show up automatically once you have picked that room. But I really encourage you as the semester goes on, if you have questions again, what meal plan did I pick? Who are my roommates? What room am I in? Those type of things. My Details will drive that for you, and then you'll see a link driving that back to you. So Matt's going to go click on the contract dates, and I want to kind of walk you through some things as we talk about round four and just kind of give an overview and some expectations, a little bit of what to select. So this page that Matt is referencing right here is the contract dates page. It's on the front page of the housing calendar on the main housing web page. So it's probably the second most visited page we have in all of the housing websites. So it should be really easy for you guys to do it. So let's kind of talk about phase four and walk through it a little bit. So hopefully you've already done the first three phases, which were you sign in, you complete your contract, you gave us your preferences, you picked your roommates in phase three, and you've done some of those things. You've already picked your meal plan at this point, that type of thing. So in phase four, about a week prior to room selection, you'll get an email, your room selection, you'll get an email that will direct you to go to My Details in the housing portal, and you can look and see your time and date that you're able to pick. Just a little FYI, the times are in a military time phase. So if you see 1426, it's 2:26 p.m. in the afternoon. It's just the way that the software is written. It references military time. So if you see that in there, that's in there to go through. If in phase four, so just to kind of go through and kind of talk a little bit about it. So our returning and transfer students have already done their room selection in late February, early March. So primarily those students went to the off-campus managed apartments. So the locale, Marshall, and the Atmosphere, they have primarily filled those spots, and then the Duncan Avenue apartments on campus. So for first year students, to kind of talk about you guys as you kind of pop in a little bit to go through the process. So in reference, in a normal round of room selection, we will have about 12 to 1,300 people roughly go through in a week. So a round of room selection. That's generally speaking, they're going to pull people in with roommates, et cetera, to go through. So as you see on the screen here, March 31st through April 7th, honor students are doing room selection. As Matt mentioned, as we film this today, it's April 1st. So we have groups of honor students who are going through and selecting their room selection today. So it's about, again, 7 days of room selection for honor students. They'll go through today, and then they will pick their rooms, and then they will bring in any affiliated roommates. So round one of room selection will take place April the 14th through the 21st. That'll be all the business days in that kind of window there from Tuesday the 14th through the 21st. So a couple things to know about that. Generally speaking, again, we'll put around 12 to 1,300 students in a round. That kind of works out to about one student per minute during the business day, to go through. So when you get your time, it's going to be during the business day, that you can go through. We do that intentionally. So if you have a question, our IT team, our assignments team, our front desk team, the admissions team, honors, whatever, are all here to help you to go through. So to put it in perspective, this year, about 2,900 first year students did a housing contract on the first day that we were open. So a lot of those have gone through the honors program and into that room selection. The rest of those students will fall in phase one. So as it looks right now, the majority of round one of room selection, along with our living learning communities, will be students who contracted on the very first day that the housing contract was open in mid-October of 2025. So that will be round one. Round two, which will take place April 28th through May the 1st, as Matt's highlighting there on the screen, will be primarily students who contracted on the second day in October through somewhat of the end of October. We will try to squeeze everybody end of October if we can. We just kind of have to look to see how many people have already been pulled in with roommates, who may already have a room, so we can open that up a little bit more. But realistically speaking, we anticipate round two of students will be students who contracted from mid-October, from day two, and towards close to the end of October, maybe all the way through the end of October. If you're unsure when you did that, my details page is where to go through with that. And then as we'll go through round three in May and then round four, at the end of that, we will catch the majority of the remainder of the students. There may be some students who contracted a little bit late after the first of the year, that the assignment staff may wind up manually assigning, but we try to put as many students through room selection as we possibly can do to allow you that selection. So that kind of gives you an overview. You can kind of look at your contract date and say, oh, okay, I contracted October 18th. I'm probably going to be in round two. On the very first day in October, I'm going to round one. I contracted first week in November. Okay, I'm probably in round three, at the earliest. So as that's kind of where we're looking at is to go through. So let's talk about the rounds and kind of what they mean. So again, honors is going through room selection right now. So those students, obviously, they're going to help fill HOTS Hall or Honors Hall up, but they also have the ability to select everywhere else on campus. And there's more honor students that can all fit in HOTS anyway. So they are already starting to pick rooms in the quad. They're starting to pick rooms in the Maple, Adobe, Reed, Yoakum, the Cardinal, which is available to first year students in 4-bedroom apartments. So our honor students are kind of picking those up. So you may go through, if you're in round one, and see a limited selection of a specific building as honor students have already picked. And then again, about 12 to 1400 students in round one will go through. That's another 1400 beds plus whatever roommates students bring in to go through. So if a student had a roommate and they're in round one, that's another additional 2000 students who are going to fill up beds across campus. So I ask you to kind of think about and put in perspective. If you're a student who's in round one, you're going to see some of the spaces in the Quad and the Maples and other communities that have been selected by honor students. If you're in round two, you may get to the point where the Quad may be full because between the honor students in round one, those they've selected those places, or the Maples may be mostly full or to go through. So we do feel like with the Cardinal being available in those four-bedroom options, that will give students a good bit of space to go through. But we do want you to be realistic as you go through your room selection process of what may be available when your round of room selection comes. Then, if you wind up in the group of students who have to be manually assigned, we will ask you at some point to go back in the portal and rank your buildings. And then, as we process cancellations or we open up rooms that we have saved off for accessible needs students and some other processes, we'll try our very best to first put you with your roommate request, and second, then we'll work to put you in a room that is in your preferences as best we can with what space is available there to go through. So we'll do rounds. Yeah, one, two, three, four, you can see on the screen to go through. So here's the biggest thing I kind of want to talk to you about to go through. You do have one roommate as you go through the pair. There are some four-bedroom spaces available across campus. You cannot save the other two bed spaces for two friends who may be contracting later in the process. So you're only going to be able to assign yourself and one roommate. The other two sides will be open. We hope this doesn't happen, obviously, but if there is any situation of bullying or anything like that, we do reserve the right to remove you from a room if that type of thing happened. We hope no one does that, or nice to our fellow Razorbacks as we come through, but we just kind of want to address that and be upfront about that if someone were to get that. But as you go through the phases, you'll be asked to do a safety addendum page and a confidential contact page. You'll fill that out, and then if you are a student who you get your room selection time and maybe your roommate has already assigned you, go ahead and go into phase four, log in, and then you'll see that you have a room. If you want to change your room, you certainly have the right to do that. If you and your roommate are happy and you don't want to do anything else with your room, then you can just hit save and continue and go and finish out the end of phase four to go through. And we'll talk really quickly about phase five because it's kind of the next thing that's on the perimeter after room selection. So as Matt goes through that, so June the 9th through the 12th, students will go in and they will select what we call our arrival time, which is our move-in time for June the 9th through the 12th. So what our plan right now for this is, we're going to try something brand new for this year with selecting arrival time. We're going to try to give students an individual time just like you did for your for your room selection to pick an arrival time. So that will give us a couple things. It will give us some fairness in the process that the earlier contracted students will get the right to select a little bit of earlier arrival time if they prefer that. Also, the second part of that equation is it prevents two students from selecting the exact spot at the same time to go through. So it prevents two people from picking one time slot, which we don't want to go through for one move-in time slot. So we're going to try to do that. We're working on that process right now. We will send you more details as we approach June, and you'll hear about it at orientation as well to go through. Plug for that. If you haven't signed up for orientation, make sure you go do that as well to go through. I'll hit very quickly on the move-in dates and just kind of hit on some things for you guys and have some early information about that. So you saw Matt scroll by. Friday, July 31st will be a drop-off for Arkansas students. Around mid-July, that process will go live. You already have to pick your room. I'm sorry, your arrival time to pick your drop-off time, but this is for Arkansas students only to go through. If you are in Hotz Hall, an off-campus apartment, or the Duncan Avenue apartments, those will not be available for early drop-off. Hotz Halls or summer school hall. We may have a couple construction projects as long as they finish on time that may hold back a building. For instance, Holcomb Hall this summer is going to have some work done on it that will take up most of the summer. So if a construction project runs behind, we may not have early drop-off for that building if that, but but the last few years, we've been fortunate to be able to do this. And as you'll go through, you'll see August 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are kind of our four big move-in days to go through. You'll be able to again select your arrival time for go those. For those of you who maybe had a brother, sister, cousin, or whatever, a friend who moved in last year, we will work to start down at Baum Walker Stadium this year to do your check-in for move-in, and then you'll kind of proceed back up to your facility. This is probably the one thing, if you get nothing else out of anything else we say today, I hope you hear this. We have this kind of misnomer that sorority students have to move in on August the 5th. Please flush that from your knowledge base. Sorority recruitment students can move in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th of August. They can move in all four of those days to go through, even the 7th of August, those first 3 days. So recruitment will start on Friday night, the 7th. We will get every student who's going in through recruitment by early Friday afternoon. But take Reed Hall, for instance. It's a building that historically has a lot of sorority recruitment students. We can't move in the entire building in one day. So some students are going to have to come on Friday, some are going to have to come on Thursday, some are going to have to come on Wednesday to go through. And the same thing's true with the Maples and the Quads and some of the other locations. So you'll see some sorority recruitment spots since that. So if you're in that mindset, the 5th, 6th, 7th, any of those 3 days work for sorority recruitment. You can move in. And then also, we ask in the housing contract on the page for female students if you were going through sorority recruitment. If you originally answered no and you decided to, yeah, I think I'm going to do that, go back and change that answer to yes, or vice versa. If you answered yes and you decided not to do that, go back, change that to no. That will help us drive those move in processes to go through. But for phase four, we just hope that you can go through that. Pick your room, and remember, just think about the one roommate philosophy as you go through. Our housing office, again, all the room selection times are during the business day, so we're here for you. Our assignment team's here for you. So if you have specific questions, if you want to look at buildings, as you can see, Matt's on the website. You can click on halls. That's right there. Matt's going to do that as we speak. You can see all of our halls, and I'll let Matt dive down into founders right there and click on that one. So we're under hall details, and as Matt kind of scrolls through this, you can see information about founders. Here's the projected rates. Here's where your address is, features about it, what staff work in the buildings, how close am I to the food hall, how close am I to the Greek theater, the library. Maybe you want to go to a basketball game. How close are you to Bud Walton? And then at the bottom of it, there's some what we call Matterport 3D is a great company we partner with that gives you 3D spaces so you can see what's the common area look like. You can see what's a traditional room with a sink look like. You can see the gable rooms are up on the 6th floor. You can see what those rooms look like because they have a little bit different arch, a traditional style room. There's lots of pictures that we put up. You can measure. If you, for those of you who want to measure blinds, you can measure those skills by looking at those 3D spaces in Matterport. So as you're thinking about buildings, kind of look at those and to see. Hopefully that will help you a little bit with that. But if you have any questions, housing.uark.edu, or you can call us. Our number is 479-575-HOUS. Easy for to remember will be our phone number, and we're glad to help you. So Matt, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, Billy. And again, thank you all for watching our admission talk video. We'll be dropping this out on our YouTube page so you can reference it as much as you want. As Billy said, don't hesitate to reach out. Certainly check the My Details, which is going to answer a lot of your questions. But if there is anything we can help you with, be sure to reach out to University Housing or the Office of Admission, and that's what we're here for. So with that, we'll kind of sign off. Until next time, everyone have a great rest of your day, and go Hogs, everyone.